Hey everybody, this is Jamie with milkallergymom.com. Tonight I am going to make a dairy-free dinner that you may have never heard of before, and it is called a horseshoe. Now this is something local to our area. It's very, very popular. All of the restaurants make these, and the crux of the whole dish is a cheese sauce. So we used to make these homemade at home when I was growing up, but when my son had a milk allergy, I did not think that I could make a horseshoe at home anymore. Actually, a smaller version is called a pony shoe. So a horseshoe or a pony shoe. And I put this on the site at milkallergymom.com the other day, and I got a lot of questions about it. So I tried to write a little bit more to make it more explanatory. But honestly, this is one of those that definitely would have better justice done to it if I do a video. So hello to everybody on here. I have been missing you guys. I've been sick for several days, and I've got my water and some mints in case I start hacking in the middle of this, but I want to get right to it and show you guys how to make a horseshoe. So it is a layered dish. It takes a toast down on the bottom layer of the plate. This, and by the way, disclaimer, this is like probably not the healthiest meal, so you might want to add a salad or a vegetable with it, but it definitely is unique and delicious. So the bottom layer is going to be a toast. In the restaurants here, you want a big, thick, like Texas toast. But I am not beyond just using our dairy-free bread that we find at the store, like our sandwich bread. However, I was really excited to make these. See, I'm like coughing and stuff. I was excited to make these with leftovers around our house, so you can actually make these with leftovers. And so I have a couple different ingredients I'm going to tell you about. But for bread, instead of using sandwich bread from Nature's Own, I think is what we're using right now, I actually have some homemade bread that I made to go with Christmas soup. And so this is the perfect thing to have on hand. It's dairy free, it's egg free. I will get this posted soon, the white bread that we make in the KitchenAid mixer, but I'm going to be able to slice this nice and thick to make a thick toast for the bottom of our horseshoes, unlike our sandwich bread. So this is going to be like the real deal tonight, because we're going to have a nice thick toast at the bottom of the horseshoe. Now the next layer is going to be a meat. Now the way that you have this take a little longer to make for dinner is if you have to cook the meat for the dish, but it's really handy if you have it as a leftover. So the classic way of making a horseshoe is to have hamburger patties to put on top of the toast. So you want to have the hamburger patty, of course, cooked, and then you put all the layers together at the end. So the second layer on top of the toast is a meat, usually a hamburger patty. However, and if you have leftover hamburgers, a horseshoe is great to make for leftover hamburger night. But my very favorite, I don't even love the hamburgers the most. When I go out to eat and I have a horseshoe, my favorite is ham. And so we have leftover Christmas ham that is the second ingredient to our dish. And so all I have to do with this, I want it warm, so I will heat it on the skillet in a little bit of oil to just make like a cooked up warm ham. So this will get done probably at the very last minute, because ham does not take long to heat up, and neither does hamburgers if you had hamburgers to use as your leftovers. So, but if you had to cook a hamburger or cook ham for this, of course, this dish would take a lot longer than using leftover pieces. So I have leftover bread and I have leftover ham, which is going to speed up this dish a lot. Now on top of the bread is the hamburger or the ham or any other kind of meat. And then your third layer on top of those is French fries. So we are very fortunate to have a prepackaged French fry that we can use quickly for this dish. And these are the Ore-Ida brand. I know a lot of you guys know that you can have these if you are dairy free. And several of the Ore-Ida varieties are actually safe for us. But this one, so when you make your horseshoe, this is golden fries, and they're nice and skinny. These are our favorite to make a horseshoe with. The crinkle fries are also good for those. But I've never seen a horseshoe, and they make them all kinds of ways, but I've never seen one with like waffle fries or tater tots or something like that. So you would want just a nice classic fry if you were like me. I like a classic French fry. So you've got your bread on the bottom, you've got your meat on top of the bread, you've got your fries, which of course are cooked. So you're not layering all this until you have all of the pieces cooked. So for the bread, I'm going to toast a piece for everybody in the toaster oven and then put it on the bottom of their plates. The ham will be heated up in the skillet, and then it will go on top of the warm toast. Hello, Heather. I am barely alive. I think you might be able to hear it in my voice. I'm not quite 100%, but I am going to try to do this in video tonight because I really want to use all of our leftovers to make these horseshoes tonight, and I kept waiting until I could do a video to show you guys. So I decided tonight was the night, and we'll see how far I can get. But yes, thank you for noticing that I am alive, a little pale, but alive. And then the third ingredient is going to be the French fries that we talked about. And of course, well, not of course, because you may not know this. Only the locals know this. You will want your French fries. You'll just put a big batch of French fries in the oven. Cook them according to the directions, and then you will layer those on top of the cooked hamburger and the toasted, or the cooked ham, which I'm doing tonight, and the toasted bread. So you're putting all your pieces together when everything is done. So the biggest thing on this is just timing all of the 4 parts. So we're going to have toast, we're going to have a cooked meat or a warmed ham or a cooked hamburger, and we're going to have fries that have been baked and ready to go. And then on top of all of that is the cheese sauce. And so this was my big hang up with milk allergies for a long time. My son did not get to have a horseshoe like everybody else in our area because I did not know how to do the cheese sauce. But I have now figured that out, and that is what I wanted to spend the bulk of my time. I gotten some questions about how to make that cheese sauce. And so what you do is you just make a white sauce on your stove. I use my little Le Creuset saucepan, and I've got my directions up here on my laptop. So we do have this posted. It is the Horseshoe at Milk Allergy Mom. It calls for toast, burger, or any meat, fries, and cheese sauce. And then I give you the recipe for the cheese sauce. So it is, I didn't get everything out. Shoot, I need to have my kids help me. Do I have any helpers? Yep. They're playing their new video games on silent so that I can do this video for you guys, so I appreciate that. I need our butter, and I need flour. If you are wheat-free, you could use cornstarch on that to thicken this cheese sauce. Then we're going to need our salt, which we are almost out of salt. It doesn't call for much, so I might just use it from the shaker. And then we need milk and cheese. So awesome. He is very helpful. Thank you, buddy. I think that's it. Yes, I didn't have to leave. I've got the cheese. Got the cheese. All right, so we are making a cheese sauce that tops the big horseshoe meal with its 4 components, but the top component is the cheese sauce, and that's the part that is probably the trickiest for my milk-free, milk allergy friends. So the directions are on the site. It just calls for you're going to melt butter in a saucepan on low to medium heat. So I've got my saucepan here. The girl said, yay boys for helping. All it calls for is a tablespoon of dairy-free butter. So I'll either use like my stick of butter and cut a tablespoon, or I'll just get the tub of butter, which actually we're out of, so I'm going to have to do this. But we just started using that melt tub of butter, and it totally worked for us. So very excited about having a new butter for us. So I'm going to, Allison, this video is for you. We're doing the horseshoe. And I'm making dinner at the same time. I told my hubby to go work out downstairs so I could do a video of making dinner. I think he thinks it's a pretty good setup, actually. So a tablespoon of butter. I just cut off a little tablespoon amount from my stick. And so that goes over the stove to heat up. I'm going to do that really quickly. We're just going to heat that up. Maybe Miles will pull it off for me. And then while the butter is warming, which does not take very long, you're going to take your 3/4, so I didn't pour quite enough in here, 3/4 cup of dairy-free milk, and thicken that with some flour. Buddy, will you keep an eye on the butter for me? And when it's melted, pull it off the heat, because we don't want to scorch or ruin all our butter at the bottom of the pan. So I've got my 3/4 cup of dairy-free milk. We have almond here. And we're going to thicken it with a tablespoon of flour. Again, if you are wheat-free, you can use cornstarch to do thickening. So we're just going to pour a tablespoon of flour into the milk, and we're going to whisk that. You don't want any lumps. And we're going to pour this over the butter on the stove to make our little white sauce. So it says melt the butter in a saucepan on low to medium heat. While the butter is melting, pour the milk into a measuring cup and whisk the flour in until the milk is smooth with no lumps. All right, I've followed the directions, which is a complete miracle. And then I could actually have Miles do this for us. Then we just slowly add the milk and flour mixture to the butter in the saucepan on medium heat and continuously whisk it in the pan and add salt and pepper. I give you measurements for salt and pepper, so you will salt and pepper it. So this is basically going to be a white sauce that's going to be thick because it's got the flour in there. You want to add it slowly, whisking it with the butter. But the fun part is the cheese, because we're making a cheese sauce, not a white sauce. So what I do is add cheese to the white sauce to make it a cheese sauce to top our big horseshoe dinner. So my favorite is right now Daya's cheese, whatever they call it now, block. It used to be a, what did they used to call it? A cheese wedge, but now it's a cheese block. And I think that I do not love dairy-free cheese. I do not like the shreds on pizza. Miles likes them because that's all he knows. I do not like his dairy-free cheese squares that he eats on sandwiches. But this stuff, you guys, I think that it tastes like Cheese Whiz. And it is my favorite of the dairy-free cheeses. And Jeff agrees. This one is very doable and tolerable, especially when you put it into a white sauce to make cheese sauce. So we think that this makes a really good cheese sauce. We have used the shreds before. If you have any dairy-free cheese that is your favorite, you could add it into the white sauce. Now I also have a measurement on here. I said a half a package to a whole package of cheddar into the white sauce. But honestly, you can just add the cheese to the white sauce as much as you want or as little as you want. I would say even a fourth of a package would make it cheesy. I mean, it'll be less cheesy, but that's okay. It'll have like a cheese taste to it.
Butter's done.
The butter is done. Awesome. So, I mean, if you want to use a whole package of Daya block, by all means, you can do that. But if you want to conserve it, which obviously we've already made something else with this. We just have like a half left. In fact, I think I already made horseshoes once with hamburgers with this, maybe last week. So I just have like a half. So I'm probably going to use this much, but I wouldn't hesitate to use less than that. The other thing is, somebody asked, I think it was Allison, how it melts. It does melt, but it's going to take more time the bigger that the chunk is. So what I did last time I used this with a horseshoe, I think I diced it into little chunks, maybe like the size of a dime, and it still took a while to melt. So I think that I am going to cut it even finer, like maybe a little shred or just really fine, thin, little fine, thin slivers of the cheese, let's say that. So once I pour my milk in over the butter, I'm stirring it, it's getting thick. Once it starts getting thick is when you put the cheese in, and you want to kind of get the cheese prepared beforehand. And you just stir it until the cheese melts and it's done. But the worst part about this recipe, it really is super easy, especially when you have leftovers to work with. The worst part is timing the cheese sauce, because once the cheese has melted, you want to start serving up the meal, because that cheese can get kind of funky. It can get, and this was with regular cheese too, it can get like a flint film or lay over the top, and I just liked, and I try not to make too much of it because I don't think that it makes a very good leftover either. So the recipe is for a minimal amount of cheese sauce to put on the top of your horseshoe, and then we just use it. We eat it immediately when it's ready. We put the horseshoes together based on when the cheese sauce is ready, and then we eat it all up. You could dip fries in it. Just think of anything that you have always wanted a cheese sauce for, and have that ready to go when you make your horseshoes, because you can dip fries in it. What else do people do cheese sauce with? Pretzels. Any other ideas, you guys? You guys are really quiet tonight. I hope you can understand my sickly self. Maybe you're all just struggling with understanding what I'm saying. So that is the horseshoe. We are going to put it all together here, not on video, but I will show you guys a picture. Maybe I'll do a little video of how the sauce is nice and runny out of the ladle or whatever. But again, we are going to use a sandwich bread, toasted. We are fortunate enough to have homemade on hand, so we can make big slices, thick slices like a real horseshoe. But if you don't have this, you can just use your favorite sandwich bread. Then we're going to put leftover, heated up, warm. Oh no, your connection keeps freezing. Oh, Allison, I did not know that. I can't see that from my end. Thank you for letting me know that. Hopefully everything will come through okay on the replay. I'm sorry about that. We are going to heat up ham to go on top of the toast. We are going to have fries baking in the oven. So the fries actually take quite a bit of time too. These probably take the longest, so I need to get these into the oven, then start working on the cheese sauce and heat up the ham at the very last minute. Just one other thing I wanted to show you guys really quick is I like to do our fries in our Lodge skillet. These are super affordable on Amazon, like 20 bucks. So it's raw cast iron, and it's really not hard. I did not grow up on cast iron. I had no idea what I was doing, but we absolutely love these pans. And so one thing that we make in these, you can see all the little crumbs. We make like our, so this can go in the oven, on the stove. It's super versatile. And we cook chicken nuggets and French fries in this often, along with other things. But they're really a pain in the butt to submerge in water because they do rust, and so you don't want to have them sitting in your sink all night, soaking in water or anything like that. But what I love to do is just take a damp, clean e-cloth, and that's literally, unless I have like a really big mess in here, but I know that it's just crumbs from chicken nuggets, like literally you can just take a damp e-cloth and wipe out the crumbs, and it's like you have a clean pan. So I know I've been sharing a little bit more about e-cloth lately, but this is just perfect for picking up all those crumbs. It's not like cotton where it just corrals the crumbs into a corner and I'm scooping them out, but it literally picks them up. Now the crumbs are all in this cloth, and so now we have a clean pan. I just washed dishes for y'all. Shoo, Allison, you're having trouble too. I have no idea why. I do not see that on my end at all. I really, really hope the replay looks better. So sorry. If not, we'll have to make horseshoes again some night. But anyways, I'm going to put the fries here in our cast iron skillet. Get those going because the fries take about 30 minutes. About 15 minutes in, I will start working. Hello, Amy. I will start working on the cheese sauce, and then we'll just do a quick heat up of the ham from Christmas and a quick toast of the bread, and then we'll just layer it all together. Toast on the bottom, warmed up ham on top of the toast, fries on top of the ham, and the cheese sauce as the grand finale on the top. And when you eat these, you want to use a knife and a fork, and you want to have all of the layers on your fork at the same time. So you don't have to pick and choose what little combos to eat. You just eat a bite of toast, meat, fry, and a little bit of cheese sauce all in each bite, and it is delicious. I know you guys are hesitant. I know you're doubtful. but the horseshoe really is delicious, and you have to try it now, and you will just amaze all your friends and family when you make them their first horseshoe. The deal is that a horseshoe in our parts is like two of those built next to each other, so it's like two hamburgers, two pieces of toast, lots of fries and cheese, and then the pony shoe is what the kids get. Like a half version. So a pony shoe is actually one piece of bread, one piece of meat, and the fries and the cheese sauce. So usually I actually serve up pony shoes at my house, not really horseshoes, but the real word is horseshoe. So I am going to get to dinner. Jeff is excited that I wanted to make this video so that I would cook dinner tonight. We are going to have our ham horseshoes, and I will take a picture and show you what that looks like, but it is on our site, milkallergymom.com. If you just search for horseshoe, you will see it on there. And soon I will get you our homemade egg-free and milk-free bread recipe that we make in our KitchenAid mixer up too. That is on the docket for this week. I hope you guys have a great night. Hope you're having a wonderful dinner and that you are staying healthy, unlike I have been. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great one. Bye.